Hey everybody, I thought I would show you some of the building techniques that made my build a little easier. I think some of these may be extremely simplistic, others may not be, so obvious, but the first one, and I may have shown this already, is the 5-6 rule. So for every 5 studs, or for every 5 bricks, you have 6 studs long. But if you want them to actually match up perfectly when you put them together on the side, if you're doing a snot build, so there's no gap there and they match up there, the way to do it is you need 2 plates on the bottom, followed by your stud on the side, then 2 bricks, and then 1 more plate with your next stud on the side. This is, again, if you're not using the brackets. If you use brackets, they're already lined up perfectly, but this way you can use the stud on the side. Everything matches up perfectly, and away you go. Now, when you're building with columns of singles, as we all know, singles don't like to match up very straight. So when you're dealing with a whole column of them, and not only did I have, I had 4 of these for every window, 8 of them on every level, and there were at least 7 levels that had this built. So I had to do this a lot of times. And I built this off of the MOC first and then added it on because I could straighten it up easier. So the easy thing to do, you get your row of singles, if you can do it off of your build, put it on your table, press it down, and the table will make them all nice and straight. It's just a really easy way to avoid the fact that singles always get skiwampus when you try and build with them and you don't have any way to, there's nothing on the side to kind of force them to straighten up, which there wasn't on these. Let's move on to the next little trick. Okay, when you're building with bars, like antenna or lightsaber bars, things like that, it is much easier to actually insert the bar. If you're inserting into a pin or a stud on the side hole, insert the bars first before you insert them into the rest of your build. And that way, especially, so the lightsaber bars are stiff. The tubes are a lot more flexible. Now the clutch on the pin is a lot tighter than the pin's clutch on the brick. And so if I put the pins in first, like I did many times, and then try and push the bars in, or the tubes in, these bent like crazy. But the pins go in so much easier that if I do it this way, it made it immensely easier. Same is true for putting these lightsaber bars onto the bricks themselves. Kind of a pain trying to line everything up. But these just snap right in, and then all I have to do, put that on, done. When I was trying to line up the 2 tubes with the pins, it took me probably 4 times longer to do that. Now the next thing I wanted to show you, before I used these 6 stud Technic pieces, and I was putting all of the axles into the connectors. These are the half axle, half pin pieces. I was putting those into the connectors and then putting the Technic piece on the 5 pins. That was quite difficult. But I thought, well, that's easier because the axles have the plus shape, and lining those up on the connectors is going to be hard, but it ends up being much, much easier than pushing 5 pins on all at once. So if you put your axle pin combination on your Technic piece, this actually slides on extremely easier. That took me like a second compared to like 10 seconds or more trying to get the rest of them on. The other thing, again, this goes back to a pin and tube technique. So you've got your pins on the bottom of your bricks, especially your 1x bricks. And then if you use these rounds that have the hole in the top, you can do one of 2 things. On here, this matches up with the regular stud pattern, and then this matches up with the pin on the bottom because of the offset I had to use for the Technic pieces, and I can use both of them to line this up. Even though they're not symmetrical, they both hook very well. and then I just usually have to straighten these out. And that's how I've been working on my fire escape. Hope these techniques help you, and I'll see you next time.